I'm looking again at this submission from Porco777. You had asked about some drift at about 20 seconds, some drift on the pitch axis at about 20 seconds in, and I looked at 20 seconds in and didn't see anything, and it turns out that you meant 20 seconds into the video, not 20 seconds into the log. So just a tip, if you happen to think of this again, anybody out there who's watching, if you are going to refer to timestamps for me to look at, and I certainly do like, if you've got something specific that you want to look at, I love that, as opposed to just, hey, what do you see? Which is fine too, but I certainly like looking at specific things more. Give me the timestamp here in the lower right after you have synced up. Okay, and heck, give me the sync value as well. Do me a favor. But yeah, this is the timestamp that's most useful for me. The video timestamp, as you can see, I don't know where that is. Doesn't tell me anything. So what you're talking about, I think, is you do this awesome punch out, and then you do a flip, like a half flip forward, and then I think you're talking about at the end of that is where there's the drift. So let's just real quick watch the move in real time. And now let's go back and let's take a look and see what we can see if there's any drift. Whenever I am trying to troubleshoot unwanted motion on an axis, I like to bring up the PIDs so I can see what they're commanding the copter to do, and I like to bring up RC command and the gyro on a second axis so I can compare them and look for unwanted gyro motion. So here, have I got this very well synced? It looks like the horizon starts going back. No, you're pulling the stick back. Okay, it's decently synced. And the stick returns to center. Does it? Oh. It's tricky because we've got these breaks in the log. You look like you go a little positive and then a little backwards. So it's hard to judge because of the breaks in the line. But what I see here is RC command goes slightly positive. So when you center the stick, you overshoot a little bit, and then you bobble the stick here. And I'm not sure if this is a response to the pitch forward that you detect from your RC command motion. And of course the gyro is up here. You're opposing the gyro. So here you are pulling back, but the gyro is positive, so you're pitching forward. I think it's a little hard to judge this because you're in such an extreme flight condition, right? Like we can see that the P term here, although the P term is got the dropouts in there, we can see that the P term is hard positive, hard negative, hard positive, and it's like pretty active. So we're not in a very well controlled state right now. The P term is working so hard to try and stop you on a dime at the end of that move that the fact that you're inputting stuff into RC command is really secondary. I mean, it's not ignored, but I think it's going to be really hard to judge any sort of drift like that after that move, especially number one, given that RC command did not return to center cleanly. So if RC command returns to center cleanly, we can certainly look at what's going on here, what the PID loop is doing, and say, should we have, change the I term, etc. By the way, notice that the I term is zeroed out per how Betaflight does it now. So this is not a case where I term is causing you to drift or rebound at the end of the move. I term just isn't doing anything. I term really isn't doing very much anything at all. Yeah, so I think the first thing to do is to get the P term. Like I remember when I analyzed your video, you had a lot of bounce after flips and rolls. And I don't even remember, and I haven't looked, but I probably told you either to reduce your P term maybe, or maybe adjust your D term. But as long as you're having these sort of radical P term moves, it might be a little hard to assess. The other thing is that there is some unwanted movement after. You got this sort of oscillation here. And again, that may be related to the P term oscillating. There is some unwanted movement here after the move, but because you didn't cleanly center your stick, it's really hard to judge how much. Look what's happening with the stick here. This is RC command, I'm just confirming. RC command pitch. Notice that the stick is oscillating. Wah, 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 right? So, did you maybe, that's really strange to me that that's happening. I don't think your thumb would do that. I mean, it kind of makes me wonder if you just kind of released the stick and let the spring bring it back to center instead of moving it back to center yourself. That does that sort of, do you see how this decaying oscillation? Thumbs don't do that. I wonder if you're snapping the stick back by the spring. I mean, I hate to even ask, because if you're like a pro pilot, then that's just insulting to, what, are you kidding me? No, I'm not doing that. But it's weird. Or maybe, like, is there, and I, personal information, don't answer, but if you had like a tremor in your thumb, that might cause that. Like, I don't know. This is a very strange thing to see, because it doesn't seem like this decaying oscillation isn't the kind of thing that one would do sort of on purpose or even on accident unless something interesting was going on. So anyway, that's what I see. There is definitely some sort of bounce in the gyro that could be interpreted as drift, but the P term is kind of freaking out, and RC command didn't go smoothly to 0. So you'd have to, I'd want to see an example where RC command smoothly went to 0 and did not overshoot before I made too many judgments about whether there was a problem with the tune or the copter. I'm going to pause the video now, and I'm going to look and see if I can find any other examples that maybe have a better example, just in the interest of being thorough. So hold on, I'll be right back. So here we are again. We got another flip that you're doing, and we see the same thing. Again, you'll have to sort of imagine, because there's breaks in the line, but you can see that you can imagine the line going up and down and up and wiggly, wiggly, wiggly. Something's going on with your gimbal, maybe. Maybe your gimbal has a problem. If you're not doing this on purpose with your thumb or by accident with your thumb. See another one. Let's see if we can find another one. Well, I found the second one. There's another one. Here we go. Same thing. Same thing. Okay, so the weird motion at the end of your flips, you can't blame your tune until you eliminate RC command. And there's this weird thing happening to RC command after every one of your flips. This weird sort of decaying oscillation, almost as if you were releasing the stick and just letting it blah, 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 snap back to center. People like the sound effects that I made. You're getting a lot of them in this one. Enjoy. Yeah. So figure out why that's happening and stop doing that. That's the answer. By the way, I don't think it's your gimbal, because I don't see any sort of weird wiggly jiggly stuff anywhere else. It's just at the end of flips. So something about the way you are manipulating the stick when you end the flip is doing this. That's what I got to say. Hope it's helpful. Happy flying.